All right, everyone, let's talk about the Penstar eNote N10. I think that's how you say it. Now, a while back, as you guys know, I reviewed the Supernote Nomad, and I was pretty impressed with it. Now, it didn't start off all amazing, however, I grew to really enjoy that tablet. And, well, Penstar saw that video, and they reached out to me as they were coming out with a 10-inch version of their tablet, and they wanted to give it to me to see if I liked it, and so I did that. I wanted to try it out, and I wanted to continue learning more about minimalist notebook-taking electronic devices and that kind of stuff. And so in this video, after using I think about a month and a half, I'm gonna let you guys know what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and exactly who this writing tablet is for. And so stay tuned for that. But before we do, if you guys do want to purchase this tablet, I do have a link down in the description and the top comment. It is a paid link, and I appreciate if you guys do use it, as I do get a commission if you use that link. But let's go ahead and move right into it. Before we get into the things that I do like about the tablet, I want to talk first about what it is. It is a 10.3-inch e-ink display note-taking tablet. Now, it's based, I think, on Android 11. However, it has its complete own overlay over top of it, meaning basically it has all of its own software. You can technically sideload applications onto it like the Play Store. However, I tend to review and use products as they come boxed, so I didn't do any of that, and I used basically only the applications built into the device. Now, unlike a lot of other devices that it's competing with, it does not have multi-touch, and it only works with the stylus that's included with it. And the stylus does have a button, which is basically an undo button. And then you can flip the stylus around to basically work as an eraser. And then it does also come with the folio already installed. Now, at the time of making this video, it's around $369, meaning its base price is more expensive than the Nomad that I also reviewed. But when you look at getting the accessories that you should have with the Nomad, this is actually a considerably cheaper alternative because everything comes with it in the box. Now, outside of using the stylus, there are a bunch of buttons on the left-hand side of the screen that basically work as the multi-touch instead of being multi-touch, and they are mostly all mappable except for the top one, which is basically a button you use to basically set the mappable buttons. Now, it may not come with a Kindle application, but if you have PDFs, you can read books on it. It has a built-in application for writing things. You can technically access your email on it. However, the experience is, it's not amazing. And then you can even browse the internet using a built-in browser. You can listen to music, and there are some cloud services associated with it as well. And that's the basic gist of it. And for those people that really care, let's get into some of the detailed specs. It comes with 32 gigabytes of onboard storage, has a 1.8 gigahertz 4-core processor, 2 gigabytes of RAM, and has a 227 ppi screen resolution. And of course, thankfully, it has been updated and does USB-C charging, which charges up a 6,000 milliamp battery. And just in case you're wondering, it weighs in at 0.86 pounds, is 198 millimeters wide, and 226 millimeters high. And for those that have glazed over because they don't care about specifications, let's move on to my opinion on the things that I do like about the tablet. All right, so number one thing that I like, it comes down to the writing experience. And I don't know what they did, but this thing feels just like writing on paper. Like, it's no joke. It's just as slick. It's not gummy. It really does feel like paper. It feels like you're drawing on a normal piece of paper. I'm sure it has to do with the coating that they have on the screen, matched with the stylus that it comes with. It genuinely does feel like it's writing on the screen. And that also kind of comes down to the stylus. The stylus itself is actually pretty light. Now, I'm used to heavier styluses to go along with these tablets, and this lighter plasticky stylus actually feels a lot like a pencil. It's the right diameter, it's lightweight, and it feels really nice in the hands. Now, I think the button placement on it is a little bit off because when I write with like it's a normal pencil, I do accidentally hit that back button every once in a while. But overall, I have to say the writing experience, like the physical writing experience of this tablet, is the best I've used so far. The number two thing I like is its price point. Now, its base price point, like I mentioned earlier, is $369, and the Nomad that it's competing with is $299. However, when you go with the Nomad and when you get things like the pen and the folio, it gets almost to around $500, and those are accessories that you have to have really for that Nomad, otherwise it doesn't really make sense. And when $369 gets you basically all of that and makes it a fully usable drawing tablet, that's actually a pretty compelling price point. The number 3 thing is the home screen. I really like the home screen. I've not been a big fan of a lot of these drawing tablets home screens. They feel more like file systems rather than a home screen like you're used to on a smartphone. And I have to say they did a very, very good job on their home screen. It's extremely usable. It's all laid out really well. It's not exactly like what you would expect from a standard Android phone or anything like that, but it is all easy to use. You know how to get into things, and you don't have to go hunting into different menus that are all placed in different places. You have to swipe different places to get to it. It works really, really well. And then the last thing that I really like about the tablet comes down to its 10.3-inch screen diagonal. I like the bigger screen. It is really nice. Now, it isn't quite as portable, not something that's quite as easy to throw into your backpack as a smaller screen version. However, having that larger screen real estate is really nice when you're drawing and writing things. You can fit more on a single piece of paper instead of having to swap between windows to make it work. And so I really did like the screen real estate that this thing gave you. But that leads me into the things that I don't like about the tablet. And that number 1 thing is, while I enjoy the physical writing experience of the tablet, I actually wasn't a huge fan of the software behind it. It always felt like there was a little bit of a lag when you're drawing. So basically you kind of move the pencil along the screen, and then the line kind of is like a millimeter behind it while it's trying to catch up. I think that actually comes down to the refresh rate. I think it's actually a lower screen refresh rate than the competitors, meaning it takes a little bit more time for that, the drawing to basically show up on the screen. And I was a bit bummed out by that. I also had to say I didn't super like the software behind switching out, kind of styles of pens and how the actual writing works. I wasn't a huge fan of the software. It wasn't as easy to get to and be able to change your pen preferences and stuff than what I'm used to with some other products. And then the number 2 thing that I didn't like is the lack of multi-touch. So while it comes with everything you need, like the folio and the pen and stuff, it's really difficult to use when you don't use those things. Now, again, going back to the Nomad that I had used before, it does have multi-touch on it, so you can use it on its own. You can take the folio off, you can leave the pen behind, and you can still easily read books using multi-touch. You can swipe, all of those things. And the Penstar just kind of was a bit disappointing. You never felt like you could fully use the tablet without using the pen and the folio, which means you have to carry those things around with you. You have that added bulk. And I wish it had that. Now, I'm sure they did that to keep it at a price point, and a little bit more budget price point, but I just never felt like I could move away from using the folio or that stylus and using the tablet on its own. Now, you technically can by using the side buttons, but I think the normal person never will map those out to make it so that it's anywhere as easy as using multi-touch. Hey guys, so I actually got an email from Penstar specifically about this part, and they said that it was actually deliberate. It sounds like a lot of their customers would prefer to have a really good looking screen, and it sounds like multi-touch and some of the additional layers on the tablet made it so it didn't feel as paper-like to read on, so they decided to do away with the multi-touch. I'm sure it helped out with budget, but I wanted to say that as maybe there are people out there that are more concerned with having it feel more like paper rather than necessarily needing multi-touch. So that's pretty interesting. And then number 3 thing that I didn't like about it is it didn't include a ton of good applications. Now, it had the basics. It has a drawing app, which is also paired with a note-taking app, which was a bit of a bummer because you don't have a lot of the flexibility you would expect from a dedicated artwork application. And so I was a bit bummed by that. And then the other thing that kind of bothered me is it didn't come with Kindle. It didn't come with a Kindle application, which is a big bummer because that's where all of my books are, and it's probably where a lot of your books are. And these eNote books work really, really well for reading, and that's just not something you'd want to do all that much on this tablet unless you start sideloading applications onto it, which takes a skill set on its own. Now, of course, it did come with some applications that, like the Nomad didn't, such as a web browser. You can't even get on the web on the Nomad, but you can on the Penstar. So I was just, kind of surfing around on gear43.com and on just an e-ink tablet, which was, kind of cool. And that wraps up the things that I don't like about the tablet. So who is this for? If this is somebody that needs a bigger screen and they really are exclusively using it for note-taking, this actually is a pretty good tablet because it comes with everything you need. You don't have to make any choices. You just order, it shows up, it works, and that is about it. However, if you're looking for a more flexible tablet, it allows for easier reading, this may not be that tablet for you, unless you really, really want to get into side-loading applications, which at that point, a lot of apps are built around multi-touch, and it may not work quite as well on this tablet. So I don't know, if you are somebody that takes notes and that's all you need, you just need to digitize your notes, this is a fantastic option. It's probably one of the best price, it has the best screen, it has really, really nice writing capabilities. But if you're wanting anything more than that, I probably would recommend going a different direction. Now, if you are somebody that does sound like, again, I do have a paid link down in the description and the top comment. But if you're somebody that is not great for, make sure to watch this video right here, as that might be a better option for you.